My jealous daughter-in-law made a joke about my dead mother, and now I'm supposed to forget about it? I never thought grief could sneak up on you during a normal Sunday dinner, but it did. We were all sitting around the table, the one with the wobbly leg I keep meaning to fix, eating chicken that was just a bit too dry because I got distracted talking. My wife, Claire, was animated that day, telling stories about her coworkers and the mystery person who kept stealing yogurt from the office fridge. My son, Ethan, listened politely. His wife, Maya, nodded at the right moments. It was one of those ordinary evenings that feels reassuringly predictable. And then my mother's name came up. I was the one who said it. I can't even remember why. Something about her famous 3-ingredient biscuits and how I missed having them. I joked that I couldn't recreate them because her handwriting was so tiny it looked like ants staging a parade. That's when Claire looked right at me and said, chuckling, "Well, maybe your mother made the biscuits tiny on purpose. Too bad she's not here to defend herself." It wasn't the words, exactly. It was the tone. This soft, teasing lilt that she uses all the time when she's making a harmless joke. But this didn't feel harmless. Not to me. My mother had only been gone a year. A year isn't enough time to turn grief into something neat and tidy. Mine still runs around the house, bumping into corners. I set down my fork. "Claire," I said quietly, "what does that mean?" She shrugged. "It doesn't mean anything, you know I'm joking." But my chest went tight. My mother wasn't perfect, far from it, but she was mine. And there was a gentleness to her that felt like a soft quilt over the colder parts of life. Hearing someone make light of her absence made something twist in me. Maya looked uncomfortable. Ethan stared at the table. They both knew this wasn't the usual kind of joke. "Can we not do that?" I asked. "About my mother?" Claire blinked at me like I'd just told her the grocery store banned bread. "I wasn't being mean. You make jokes about my dad's old fishing stories all the time." "That's not the same," I said. "Your dad's alive." "So what? I tease about people who aren't alive anymore too. Humor is how I cope." I didn't say anything. I just gathered the plates and headed for the sink. She followed me. "Are you really upset?" "Yes," I said, "I am." She stared at me like she was trying to read a sign from too far away. Then she sighed, shook her head, and started stacking leftovers. She didn't apologize. That should have been a small thing, an awkward moment, a misunderstanding. But instead, it settled into my chest like a stone. And that's how this whole story started, with one stone and a whole lot of weight I didn't know how to lift. For the next few days, it was like my emotions were on a slight delay. I'd be loading the dishwasher, or watering the plants, or reaching for my jacket, and suddenly the joke would replay in my mind, uninvited and unwelcome. I didn't want to be someone who held grudges. My mother always said, "Let things roll off you like water on a duck's back." But in this case, I felt more like a sponge, just soaking up whatever landed on me. Claire noticed something was wrong, but instead of asking directly, she did what she always does, tried to fix it through noise, talking louder, making more jokes, turning ordinary moments into little performances. One evening, she plopped down next to me on the couch. "You're chilly," she said. "No, I'm not." "You are. You're like a glacier. If you start moving any slower, I'm going to call a wildlife documentary crew." I nodded, but the humor felt like wallpaper over a cracked wall. Finally, she said with just a hint of irritation, "Are you going to stay mad at me forever because I made one tiny joke?" "Claire," I said carefully. "It wasn't tiny to me." She sighed dramatically and flopped back on the couch. "You're acting like I insulted your mother on purpose. I didn't. You know I would never do that." "I know you wouldn't do it intentionally," I said, "but the results still hurt." She stared at me. So, what do you want me to do? Never joke about anything again? No, I said. Just not about her. She muttered something under her breath. Something about me being too sensitive. Then she got up and went to the kitchen. I sat there feeling both angry and guilty, which is a very uncomfortable combination, as if my heart and my conscience were each trying to talk over the other. Later that night, I found myself standing in front of my mother's old rocking chair. It's a simple wooden thing, a little creaky, with a cushion she sewed herself. I never sit in it, but I can't bring myself to get rid of it either. It feels like she could walk through the door and lower herself into it any moment. I wish you were here, I whispered. The chair, of course, didn't answer, but I felt something settle, an understanding that my hurt wasn't childish. It wasn't frivolous. It was the kind of hurt that forms when love gets nudged in a tender spot, and no amount of joking around was going to make it disappear. Saturday morning arrived bright and early, as if the sun had no idea the emotional climate in my house was cloudy. Claire made pancakes, humming loudly, trying to broadcast cheer. Want blueberries in yours? She asked. Sure, I said. She sighed, one of those deep, theatrical sighs that announces, I'm trying to be patient. Are we still in this weird phase? She asked. It's not a phase, I replied. I'm processing. She gave me a look. Processing. What are you, a computer? Claire. No, seriously. Tell me what you want from me, because I apologized. You didn't. She froze. I did. Sort of. I said I didn't mean it. That's not an apology. Yes, it is. No, I said gently. It's an explanation. She stopped flipping pancakes and leaned against the counter, arms crossed. Well, I don't know what else you want from me, she said. Her voice cracked just a bit, enough to make me soften. I didn't want to fight. I just wanted her to understand. I pulled out a chair. Sit with me for a minute. She hesitated, then did. And for the first time since the joke, I really looked at her. My wife, who was full of humor and impatience and heart. She wasn't trying to hurt anyone. She was just trying to cope in her own way. Listen, I began. I know you didn't mean anything truly unkind, but when you joked about my mom, it felt like you turned something sacred into something casual. I'm not ready for that. She stared at her hands. I joked to make things lighter. I thought maybe you needed that. Maybe someday, I said. But not yet. And you're saying I should have known that? No, I told her. I'm saying now that you do know that. I need you to respect it. Her eyes softened. Okay, she whispered. I reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. Things felt a little better for a moment, like a window had been cracked open in a stuffy room. But then she asked, very quietly, Does this mean you forgive me? I paused, and the truth surfaced, stubborn, honest, and heavier than I wanted it to be. I'm working on it, I said. Her shoulders sagged, just slightly. That's not the same as yes. No, I said. It isn't. She nodded, tried to smile, and went back to the stove. She didn't hum this time. A week passed. We weren't fighting. We weren't distant. We were cautious, like two people walking on newly polished floors. One night, we sat on the porch swing, the one my mother loved. The air smelled like freshly cut grass and someone's laundry detergent drifting over the fence. Claire leaned her head on my shoulder. I've been thinking, she said softly, about what you told me. Yeah? I think I make jokes because I'm afraid to sit with sadness. It feels too big, so I make everything small. I nodded. It made sense. That was her way. Then she added, But your mom isn't something small, and I shouldn't have treated her like she was. I felt a lump rise in my throat. Thank you, that means a lot. She hesitated. So, does this mean you forgive me now? There it was again. The question that had been waiting, tiptoeing around us. I closed my eyes and let the breeze brush past. I don't forgive the joke, I said quietly. Not yet. She stiffened. But, Claire, I said gently, forgiveness isn't something I can snap into place like a seatbelt. I still wince when I think about the joke. I can't pretend I don't. So you're going to hold this over me forever? No, I said, turning toward her. I'm going to hold a boundary. There's a difference. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not punishing you. But I'm not pretending it didn't hurt. She looked at me for a long moment. Then she nodded, slowly, like she was absorbing something heavy. I can live with that, she whispered. We sat in silence. Not the brittle silence from earlier weeks, but the kind that grows roots. The kind that says, we're trying. I took her hand in mine. She squeezed back, and I realized that not forgiving wasn't destroying us. It was shaping us, giving us a place to start again, honest, careful, and real. My mother always said, love isn't neat, but it's sturdy if you treat it right. I'm treating this right. I haven't forgiven the joke, but I haven't closed the door on the woman who made it. And for now, that's enough.